On a freezing night, deep within a vast and silent mansion, two old men sat facing each other, a single lamp flickering between them. One was Gui Ryangja, a frail, neatly dressed elder whose refined appearance contrasted sharply with the years weighing on his eyes. The other sat opposite him, his presence heavy and oppressive. His clothes were tattered, his posture rigid, his face cold and expressionless, a man hardened by a lifetime of blood and regret. Gui Ryangja gently poured liquor into a cup and slid it forward. "Have a drink." The rugged old man lifted the cup, drank once and placed it down. He refused a second. A faint smile appeared on Gui Ryangja's lips as memory surfaced. "Do you remember?" he said quietly. "Our first meeting, 40 years ago." The flame flickered. Back then, the man sitting before him had been young, wild, reckless, and burning with obsession. He had burst into this very mansion, demanding the impossible. Performed the great regression technique. Even now, thinking of it made Gui Ryangja's heart tighten. It was an absurd request, he said. A technique forbidden by heaven itself. Regression was not something one simply performed. It was a miracle that defied causality, demanded sacrifices beyond imagination, and once activated could never be undone. Gui Ryangja had told him so. The technique required 5 materials. The thunder bell, sacred artifact of the heavenly wind cult. The divine incense brazier, treasure of the divine dragon family. The core essence of a 10,000-year carp. The secret demonic soul of the demonic cult. And 5 million niang in pure silver. Even the wealth was excessive. The rest were legends, guarded by forces that ruled the martial world. "I told you," Gui Ryangja continued. "Bring me these, and I will perform the technique." He never believed the man would return. Yet, here he was. Every item lay before him. Every impossible requirement fulfilled. Gui Ryangja stared at the rugged old man in disbelief. "How?" he whispered. "How did you obtain all of this?" The white-haired man said nothing. He simply lifted his cup and drank. Silence pressed down on the room. After a long pause, Gui Ryangja spoke again. "Tell me," he said carefully, "what do you seek in the past?" The cup slammed onto the table. The sound was sharp, violent. The air itself seemed to freeze. Killing intent seeped out like poison. Gui Ryangja's breath caught. "Who?" he asked softly. "Do you hate so deeply that you would abandon this life and return to hell itself?" The man finally spoke. A single name. Wamugi. The lamp flickered violently. Silence swallowed the room. It was not an ordinary name. Hearing it, Gui Ryangja's body trembled. Wamugi. The man who slaughtered the leaders of all 3 great powers of Murim. The Murim Alliance, the Unorthodox Alliance, and even the Heavenly Demon Cult. The strongest martial artist of this era. A calamity in human form. Gui Ryangja slammed his cup onto the table, his voice breaking. "Even if you return to the past, it's impossible. You cannot kill that monster." The rugged old man's voice was calm, too calm. "I must." Gui Ryangja clenched his fists. "What? Revenge?" The man's eyes darkened. "Wamugi killed my father," he said. "My father was the heavenly demon." Silence followed. Yet the old man shook his head. "I do not seek revenge for him, nor for my brother." He spoke without hatred. They chose their path. They devoted their lives to demons. Their deaths were not unjust. Gui Ryangja stiffened. "Then why?" The old man's breathing grew heavy. "Because on that day, Wamugi didn't stop with them." His voice cracked. "He slaughtered the servants, the cooks, the children who didn't know a single martial art." Gui Ryangja's eyes widened. "He killed the dogs, the cats, everything that breathed." "That's impossible," Gui Ryangja whispered. "Wamugi wouldn't." "I don't care whether you believe it or not." The room fell silent. "In this era, killing him is impossible," the man continued. "That's why I must return." He clenched his fist. "And when I finally kill him, I will ask him one question." The air trembled. Why did someone as strong as you need to kill children? Gui Ryangja understood then. This was not vengeance. This was judgment. After a long silence, Gwi Ryangja spoke again. "If you truly return, do me one favor." The old man's gaze turned icy. "Speak." "Stop him from getting married," Gui Ryangja said coldly. "No matter what." The rugged old man froze. "Tell him to live alone for the rest of his life." For a moment, the world stopped. Then, laughter erupted. A hoarse, broken laugh escaped the old man's lips. "I'm not joking," Gui Ryangja said firmly. "You must do it." The laughter faded. Fine, the man replied. I'll fulfill your promise. They stood. The old man had lost an arm, an eye. Yet his resolve remained unshaken. They entered the ritual chamber. The 5 materials were arranged perfectly. Gui Ryangja began chanting ancient prayers. The artifacts trembled. Light erupted. The materials fused together, collapsing into a black vortex that devoured light itself. He had done it. The impossible. I succeeded. Gui Ryangja screamed in joy. He turned. The old man had collapsed. Unconscious. Gui Ryangja stared. Then hesitated. Greed surfaced. This was my family's dream, my dream. He stepped forward, but stopped. His body wouldn't move. His acupoints, still. A shadow loomed behind him. The old man stood there, awake. He pinned Gui Ryangja to the ground. How could you betray me now? And you of all people? Gui Ryangja broke down. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Tears streamed down his face. The old man released him. I know, he said quietly. I know how selfish I had to be to gather these items. He bowed his head. Thank you, for waiting all these years. Time froze. The air stilled. He panicked and looked behind, and everything was at a standstill. A radiant light bloomed behind the old man. He rose into the air, suspended as if embraced by heaven itself. An old man floating in brilliance, like an immortal descending from the skies. The immortal looked down at him and spoke calmly. You have passed the test. The rugged man stiffened. Test. He raised his head. Who are you? The immortal smiled faintly. I am the one who sends you back. Confusion flickered across the man's face. The materials, the immortal continued, were never important. Thunder Bell, divine brazier, demonic soul, none of them mattered. The man's eyes widened. They were merely a measure of your resolve. A test of dedication. The immortal's gaze sharpened. But the true trial was forgiveness. He turned his eyes toward Gui Ryangja, who knelt trembling. Forgiving him. The man who tried to steal your chance at regression. That was the final test. The immortal chuckled softly. And you passed it far too easily. The rugged man clenched his fist. If I passed, he said firmly, then send me back. The immortal paused. And what will you do? He asked. Once you return to the past? There was no hesitation. I will kill those who deserve to die, the man replied. And I will save those who do not. His voice was steady. I will live meaningfully. Not like this, wandering, collecting materials, drowning in hatred. He lowered his head. Since birth, my life had no free will. Everything I did was for revenge. Silence followed. The immortal studied him with interest. I'm curious, he said at last. What kind of life you will live now? A smile appeared on his face. I look forward to it. His body dissolved into light, fading like mist at dawn. Time resumed its flow. The pressure vanished. Gui Ryangja collapsed forward, tears streaming. I'm sorry, he cried. For everything. He looked up desperately. And remember, no matter what, stop him from getting married. The rugged man said nothing. He turned toward the swirling black vortex. Without looking back, he stepped forward. His body was swallowed by the light. And just like that, he vanished into the past. He opened his eyes to roaring noise. Shouts, cheers, and the clash of metal flooded his ears. He was standing at the center of a vast stage, surrounded by countless eyes staring down at him. I'm back. His breath caught. He slowly lifted his head. From the highest seat, an overwhelming presence gazed down upon all beings. Unyielding, absolute. The heavenly demon. His father. For a brief moment, their eyes met. And the heavenly demon smiled. Not a warm smile, but one filled with expectation. A voice thundered across the arena. Second young master. Pay attention. He turned. An ugly man stood opposite him, short, thick-necked, veins bulging, a massive blade resting on his shoulder. The sight of him sent memories crashing back. So it's today. The new demon skirmish. The day where disciples proved their worth, or were discarded. And this man. He was his opponent. The rugged old man, now young once more, tightened his grip. This was the first step. The beginning of everything. And this time, he would not lose. The heavenly demon, the MC's father, made a shocking declaration. He would no longer restrict the selection of the next cult leader to his own bloodline. His announcement sent shockwaves through the cult. For the first time, anyone strong enough could aspire to become the heavenly demon. This ignited chaos and ambition within the ranks. giving birth to a brutal competition known as the Demon Skirmish. It was a battle among the next-generation leaders of the cult, where only the strongest would survive. The victor would earn the right to challenge one of the heavenly demon's two sons. Whoever emerged victorious from that duel would be granted a single wish, one that the heavenly demon himself was bound to fulfill. The era of bloodline supremacy had ended. The era of absolute strength had begun. In the present, the MC stood on the stage as his opponent sneered, telling him to give up, claiming he stood no chance. The words echoed painfully, dragging the MC back to his past life. Back then, he had felt humiliated when he was chosen to fight, believing it meant he was considered the weaker target compared to his elder brother. But only later did he realize the truth. That man had bribed the cook in the MC's quarters, slipping an energy-dispersing poison into his meals. When the match began, his internal energy collapsed, leaving him unable to fight properly. He lost, not to strength but to deceit. He reported it to his father. The heavenly demon said nothing. He merely looked at him, eyes cold and unmoved, silently conveying a brutal truth. Falling for such a petty trick was his own failure. That defeat became the turning point of his life. He pushed himself beyond his limits afterward, training relentlessly, desperate to reclaim what he had lost. But no matter how hard he tried, it was futile. He lost his standing. He lost the succession war. And from that single poisoned defeat, everything began to fall apart. In the present, as memories of his past surfaced, the MC remained silent. His opponent mistook that silence for fear. Humiliated at being ignored, the man shouted furiously, "Do you even know who I am?" The MC finally spoke. "What's your name?" That single question ignited the man's rage. "I am Gu Pyungo, the fifth disciple of one of the 8 demon supremes, Gu Qianpa, the blood heaven sword demon." The MC briefly shifted his gaze to his father. And in that moment he understood. His father had known about the poison all along. This was never negligence. It was a test, to see how he would overcome the situation. The MC could defeat his opponent even without internal energy. His past life experience was more than enough. But now was not the time to reveal everything. So he spoke calmly. "I'll fight without using internal energy." The arena exploded. Gasps turned into cheers as voices roared his nickname. Unrivaled swordsman. Gu Pyungo's face twisted in irritation. "Fine. Then I won't use internal energy either." The crowd fell silent. "Then what's the point?" someone scoffed. "That's boring." The words cut deep. Gu Pyungo snapped. "My sword has no eyes," he screamed, slamming his broadsword into the ground. The MC exhaled slowly. "My body is still weaker than I remember," he thought. "It won't move exactly how I want, yet." Gu Pyungo roared again. "Draw your sword." "I won't," the MC replied. Laughter rippled through the crowd. To Gu Pyungo, it felt like humiliation carved into his bones. "Then I'll take one of your arms." He charged. Heavy strikes crashed down one after another, but the MC dodged casually, stepping aside with effortless precision. Then he smiled. "It works." In a flash, he closed the distance. An elbow slammed into Gu Pyungo's chest. A punch followed, clean and decisive, sending him crashing back, teeth scattering across the ground. Before he could recover, the MC grabbed his arm. "Was it this hand," he said calmly, "that poisoned my food?" Crack. A scream tore through the arena. Silence followed. The crowd stared in shock at the swift, brutal conclusion. As Gu Pyungo collapsed, the MC clenched his fist and steadied his breath. This time he resolved, "I won't let anyone else dictate my life." The heavenly demon slowly raised his hand. The arena fell silent. "The victor," he said calmly, "state your wish." The MC paused. Most people in this moment would beg for a divine sword or a forbidden martial manual. That was what everyone expected. But he trusted his instincts. "I wish," he said, "to go on a hunt with my father." Murmurs rippled through the crowd. The heavenly demon narrowed his eyes. "Are you certain?" "Yes," the MC replied without hesitation. "I know you enjoy hunting. I want to learn from you." For a brief moment, the heavenly demon stared at him, longer than anyone had ever seen. Then he stood. "We depart tomorrow at dawn." With those words, he turned and left. Every elder bowed deeply as he passed. As the crowd dispersed, Gu Pyongyang scoffed loudly. "What a pathetic wish." The MC glanced at him. "What's your name?" The question struck like a slap. Gu Pyongyang's face twisted with rage, but before he could respond, his attendants hurriedly pulled him away. The MC watched them leave, expression calm. I'm back, he thought. And I won't live recklessly again. Dusk settled over the demonic cult. Alone in his room, the MC stared at his reflection. The face looking back at him was young, far younger than the man he once was. His thoughts drifted to Wamugi. Where are you now? If he could find him and kill him before he grew powerful, everything would end easily. But Wamugi was a shadow even in history. No one knew how he first appeared in the Jianghu. After destroying the Murim Alliance, the Unorthodox Alliance, and even the demonic cult, he vanished from the world. There was no trail. No record. If he openly searched for him, it would only provoke the monster. In the end, there was only one solution. I must become stronger than Wamugi. Young master. The voice startled him. He turned sharply. Leon. She stood there, tall and heavily built, her presence solid and reassuring. His bodyguard. He remembered everything. Her physique was the result of the body petrification technique, a method that hardened the body like stone at the cost of permanently altering one's form. She had chosen it for a single reason. For him. In his previous life, she had thrown herself in front of him, blocking the sword aura meant to kill him. She died so he could live. Why are you looking at me like that? She asked, confused. The MC said nothing. He simply smiled. Hearing her voice again, clear, steady, warm, filled something hollow inside him. She had always been at his side, and yet he had treated her as nothing more than a bodyguard. Taken her presence for granted. He stepped closer. Leon stiffened, unsure of what to do, standing silently as her heart pounded. The young master's gaze felt different, and for the first time, he truly saw her. Leon. Everyone once said that if she continued growing up the way she had, she would become the greatest beauty in the world. But one day, without warning, she became fat. From that day on, she vowed to protect the young master. He hadn't known back then, hadn't realized how much she cried after her body changed. He never noticed how her eyes were swollen, red from endless tears. Only now did he wonder how she must have felt. She had given up her appearance, something that could have made her peerless, just to cultivate a body purification technique strong enough to protect him. And how did he treat her after that? Perhaps, more coldly each time. The thought made his chest tighten. I will fix it, he promised silently. I will remove the side effects of that technique for you. At present, Leon looked at him with concern. Young master, are you all right? I'm fine, he replied. Actually, I feel good. She frowned slightly. You're acting strange today. Of course she noticed. As his bodyguard, the one who protected him every day, she was the first to sense any change. He turned to her. Come. I'll show you something even stranger. Where are we going? She asked. He smiled faintly. To flip the timetable. The kitchen hall was packed. All the cooks stood gathered together, whispering nervously, while the young master stood before them, calm and expressionless. He spoke softly. Why did you do it? The head chef blinked in confusion. Do what? The young master's gaze sharpened. Why did you poison my meal with an energy-dissipating poison? The hall exploded into chaos. What? That's impossible. We would never. Denials rang out. The young master raised his hand. Silence. He looked directly at one cook, a thin, trembling youth. Did you gamble away the 3,000 yang you received? The boy's face drained of color. You fell into gambling, the young master continued calmly. You lost your parents' savings, then borrowed from friends. When no one would lend to you anymore, you decided to poison my food. The boy collapsed to his knees. I was desperate, he cried. I repented. I truly did. Did you beg your senior for the money? The young master asked. Yes. The sword flashed. The boy's head flew from his shoulders. Blood splattered across the hall. Screams froze in throats. Bodies trembled. The young master sheathed his sword slowly. As a cook, he said coldly, poisoning food is an unforgivable sin. Every cook dropped to their knees, begging for mercy. The head chef stepped forward, sweating. I will take full responsibility. Why? The young master asked. Everything that happens in the kitchen is my responsibility. The young master tilted his head. Then does that mean everything that happens in the cult is my father's fault? The head chef stiffened. No, that's not the case. Then stop speaking nonsense, the young master said flatly. He turned away and left, sword still humming faintly with killing intent. The cooks remained frozen. The head chef said nothing. He only stared at the floor in silence. Outside, Leon followed him. Didn't you just eat shredded chicken noodles a few days ago? She asked. He paused. She looked at him, surprised by his stillness. He didn't answer. It's been decades, he thought, since I last tasted this. At dawn, the heavenly demon stood atop the heavenly demon pavilion. He was waiting. His gaze fell on his son, who approached carrying a bow, a rolled bed, and several other belongings, as if preparing for a journey that would last days. The heavenly demon frowned. What's with all those distracting belongings? The MC answered calmly, just in case. In case, the heavenly demon repeated. You planned only for a day's hunt. Who knows, the MC replied lightly. You might enjoy the hunt and decide to stay for a few more days. The heavenly demon glared at him. You have an ambitious dream. Without another word, he walked past him. Together they headed toward the 1,000 Mountains. Dawn broke as they arrived, thick fog rolling between the trees. No guards followed. Only the two of them walked into the mist. After a while, the heavenly demon spoke. You're better than I thought. The MC paused. Did he notice the skills I've been hiding? Deciding it was pointless to deny it, he said, I was hiding them. I noticed, his father replied. The MC nodded. I'm not a cat that belongs to you. I'm a beast that hides its claws. The heavenly demon stopped. He turned back slowly. Why would a beast hide its claws? The MC thought for a moment. I didn't consider it from that perspective. His father's lips curved faintly. That's why you're still only a cat. They continued walking. How much of the soaring sword art have you mastered? The heavenly demon asked. The MC knew the weight of that question. The soaring sword art was passed down only through the heavenly demon bloodline, an extremely advanced martial art, comparable to those cultivated by the demon supreme. I've completely mastered it, he answered. A sharp burst of energy tore through the air. The MC twisted his head at the last instant. The blade of energy brushed past his cheek. Had he been a breath slower, half his face would have been torn away. The heavenly demon nodded. So you truly have mastered it. The MC stared at him in disbelief. You really believed me, and struck without hesitation? If you hadn't mastered it, his father replied calmly, you would have paid the price for lying to me. And if you had mastered it, you would dodge. Even so, the MC said, touching his cheek, this face resembles yours. A scar here would have ruined it. The heavenly demon said nothing. They walked on. After a moment, his father spoke again. To fully master it at your age, that's worth praise. It was brief, but it was praise. The MC lowered his head slightly. Thank you. The forest grew quieter as they moved deeper. After some time, the MC asked, who did you learn it from? My elder brother, the heavenly demon replied. Then, without emotion, he added, I killed him when I was around your age. Silence fell. After a long pause, the MC spoke. He did well. The heavenly demon looked at him. If he hadn't done that, the MC continued, I wouldn't have been born. His father said nothing. The MC thought quietly. If not for that, he wouldn't have had to fight his entire family. In his past life, he had seen it often. The stronger a person appeared, the deeper the wounds they carried. At last, the heavenly demon spoke again. Back then, I couldn't find another solution. I saw no way to succeed without killing my own brother. The MC nodded slowly. Then don't regret it, he said. He hesitated, then added, I hope you don't think I can't do what your valiant people do. But you already know, there's no need for me to consider it. He met his father's gaze. My brother is ruthless. Cruel. Silence stretched between them. Finally, the heavenly demon spoke, his voice low. You are speaking ill of your brother behind his back, huh? The fog swallowed their figures as they continued walking forward, deeper into the mountains. Later that day, the MC and his father climbed the mountain at terrifying speed. Their movements were light, almost unreal, as if the slope itself bent beneath their steps. From behind, the MC watched his father's broad back and found himself thinking of something strange. In his previous life, he had never married. He had never had children. So he didn't know what it felt like to be a father. That made him wonder, what kind of existence am I to him? When they reached the mountain's peak, a vast forest stretched endlessly below them. The wind carried the scent of earth and blood. The MC spoke first. Is there something down there? His father replied calmly, our dinner. The MC's eyes lit up. Then let's go kill it. His father glanced at him. How do you plan to kill something you can't even see? Then he added, close your eyes. The MC obeyed. Feel your surroundings, his father said. Not with your eyes, your presence. The MC focused. Sense vibrations, the flow of existence. People called it many things, Chi, aura, energy flow. At first he felt only one presence. His father's. Send your energy out, his father instructed. In a single line. Don't let it scatter. Think of your body as a ball of yarn. Pull out one thread. The MC did exactly that. Slowly, carefully, he released a thin strand of energy into the world. Did it reach? His father asked. Yes, the MC replied. I can feel it. What is it? A tree. Search further. The thread extended again, deeper, farther, until it touched something else. A living thing. The MC frowned. It's an animal, stiff fur, long body. Feels like a wild boar. His father looked at him, eyes widening slightly. Yes, he said. A wild boar. Then quietly, you hit it on your first try. At your age, I couldn't even identify targets at this distance. The MC puffed up proudly. I'm just gifted. My body learns martial arts quickly. This isn't a big deal. His father said nothing. He simply looked at him in silence. That night, the MC prepared the wild boar for cooking. His father watched closely. When did you learn how to prepare hunted animals? I read it in a book, the MC answered. You're too skilled for someone who's never done this before. The MC smiled inwardly. Of course I am. He had prepared countless animals in his past life, just to survive. His father now sat atop a tiger skin, carefully prepared by the MC earlier. Carrying all that weight had been worth it. His father spoke again. Do you think hunting with me and impressing me will make you my successor? No, the MC replied without hesitation. I know that wouldn't work. Then, confidently, I can become the successor without your help. His father raised an eyebrow. You're confident. He paused. Then why did you want to hunt with me? The MC answered honestly. 2 reasons. First, I wanted to learn everything I could from you. To become stronger. And I think I've succeeded. His father looked at him with faint surprise. And after you become strong? The MC shook his head. I think you misunderstand. He continued, I'm not trying to become stronger just to become the heavenly demon. You're still alive and healthy. I don't want to waste my youth chasing your seat. Then more quietly, but if the 9 calamities demonic art failed against Wamugi, then mastering it won't be enough. His father's gaze sharpened. And the second reason? He asked. The MC smiled faintly. I wanted to spend time with you. Alone. It was the first time he'd said that out loud. His father nodded once. A useless emotion. It will get you killed. The MC frowned. Why is it useless? If I walk beside stones, I'll become sturdy. If I drink liquor with you, it becomes the strongest liquor in the world. His father looked at him, truly looked, then turned away saying nothing more. Silence settled between them. The MC thought bitterly that when he tried to remember his father in his past life, all he remembered was fear. This time he didn't want that. But he also knew. This wasn't only for his father's sake. It was for his own. Morning came. Let's head back, the MC said. His father shook his head. We're not leaving until we kill a tiger. The MC froze. You said this was just a one-day hunt. His father walked forward. If we don't kill a tiger, it won't count as hunting with the heavenly demon. Stop standing there like a fool, he added. Follow me. Deep in the forest, his father stopped again. Close your eyes. The target is 100 yards away. This time, he added, feel the wind. The MC realized something unsettling. I've never infused my energy into the wind before. No martial art he'd learned taught this. Slowly, under his father's guidance, he did it. Too slow, his father snapped. If you're that careful, it's just a trick. In battle, speed decides life and death. The MC adjusted, faster, sharper. Energy and wind intertwined. And then, I found it, the MC said, shocked. It's a tiger. His father looked genuinely surprised. Good, he said. But don't get lazy. The more energy lines you can maintain, the higher your chance of survival. That night, the MC presented a jar of liquor, his strongest move. They drank together. This is good, his father said. The MC lied, it's still too strong for me. His father scoffed. No demonic man complains about strong liquor. So what if I can't drink? The MC replied. A vicious heart matters more. His father's eyes sharpened. A vicious heart? Could you kill me to survive? The MC paused. No. Then after a beat, how could a child kill his parent? Yet in his heart he knew, it was a lie. If he had enough reason, he could. How could I kill you? He repeated aloud. His father replied coldly, If you hesitate, don't speak of vicious hearts. MC just replied, then he will now learn how to handle strong liquor from him then, and both continued drinking. Both drank in silence, and his father silently looked at him with an expression that said it was his first time having such a conversation with his child, and just that the night passed. After returning from the hunt, the MC devoted himself entirely to the training his father had taught him. Days passed in relentless practice. Gradually he learned to infuse his inner energy into the wind itself. At first only a single thread responded. Then two. Soon he could freely maintain 3 to 4 distinct lines of energy, weaving them into the air like invisible blades. He had not expected his father to take him outside to release that energy and observe the surroundings. To him, it felt like being granted an extra life. With this technique he could sense hidden enemies before they struck. If he continued refining it, he was confident he could release more than 10 lines of energy simultaneously, enough to tear apart even the most refined stealth techniques. This was no small achievement. Standing upright after training, his thoughts drifted to the past. Even his father, vastly more skilled than he was now, had fallen to Hwamuge. And not because of inferior strength. The heavenly demon pavilion had been impregnable. 3 barrier formations. 6 lethal trap formations. An elite guard selected from the finest demonic warriors. And beyond that, 8 demon supremes stationed in the 8 directions, each commanding their own fearsome subordinates, all protecting the heavenly demon himself. To the north stood the demonic swordsmen of the Northern Heaven Sword family, led by the One-Sword Supreme. To the south were the Blood Heaven Bladesmen, ruled by the Blood Heaven's Bladesman. In the east, the Iron Fists of the Eastern Fist faction followed the undefeated Fist Demon. In the west lurked the Illusion Formation Sorcerers, commanded by the Soul-Stealing Demon. The northeast housed the Faceless Swordsmen, all aspiring to become the evil Smiling Demon. The southeast belonged to the perpetually drunk swordsman under the demonic drunkard. The southwest was dominated by poison researchers, led by the Poison King. And in the northwest were the crazed monks devoted to the twisted faith of the demonic Buddha. Back then he had believed the enemy had broken in from outside. He was wrong. The outer defenses had never been breached. That realization came later, and when it did, it chilled him to the bone. Someone among the 8 demon supremes had led Hwamuge directly into the heavenly demon pavilion. There might have been more than one traitor. But it no longer mattered who. In his eyes, all 8 were traitors. After his father's death, not a single demon supreme had supported him. Together, they later chose to dissolve the demonic guild, a future event he remembered all too clearly. He knew the paths their lives would take. He knew how each of them would die. This time he would use them. Every last one of them. Just as he resolved to step outside, a loud voice echoed from beyond the training grounds. They were shouting at his guard, Fatty, demanding to know if the second gang master was still hiding inside. The MC's eyes narrowed. Who dared insult his subordinate? Outside, 3 men stood arrogantly, one of them bald, a massive blade strapped across his back. He was openly berating his guard, complaining about how many days had passed already. I've waited long enough, the bald man sneered. Go in there and drag your second gang master out. His bodyguard shouted back in anger, demanding to know what he had just said. At that moment, the MC stepped forward. Li Han, he asked calmly, what are you doing here? She immediately bowed. Young master. He frowned slightly. Didn't I tell you to go handle your own affairs while I trained? Why were you waiting here? A flicker of concern crossed his face. Had she stood here the entire time? Before she could answer, the bald man interrupted impatiently. So you're finally out, second master. Training all of a sudden, and for days at that. The MC's gaze shifted to him, cold and indifferent. He recognized him instantly, a disciple of the Blood Heaven's Bladesman Yang Pa. The bald man sneered. You're only acting so boldly because of your father. Now that the heavenly demon declared anyone in the cult can become his successor, your position isn't special anymore. His voice grew sharper. In fact, your existence has become a target. Crippled disciples. Broken futures. Ambitions fueled by fear. The MC spoke flatly. What do you want? The bald man scoffed. You don't know? Byung-ho can no longer practice martial arts because of you. And, the MC replied. What does that have to do with me? The man's face twisted in rage. Do you think I'm joking? The MC smiled faintly. I don't think our relationship allows for serious conversation. Take responsibility, the bald man roared. Go and officially apologize for crippling him. The MC understood immediately. Byung-ho had not been chosen as the Blood Heaven's Bladesman's top disciple. These fools were scrambling for favor. An official apology would allow this man to claim credit, salvaging his master's reputation. "I don't see why my apology would make your master choose you," the MC said calmly. "That's nonsense," the bald man shouted. "This is for Byung-ho." "That's enough." The temperature seemed to drop as the MC's gaze hardened. "You should be the one apologizing." "For what?" the bald man snapped. "For speaking rudely to my subordinate," the MC replied. "Apologize to Lee Han." The man laughed in disbelief. "What?" Lee Han hurriedly said, "It's fine, young master." "No," the MC interrupted coldly. "It isn't." He took a step forward. "You insulted my subordinate. Kneel and apologize. Now." The bald man's expression turned ferocious. "Kneel to that fatty? Have you gone mad? I'd rather die." The MC's lips curved into a thin smile. "Good," he said softly. "That's what I wanted to hear." Steel rang as he unsheathed his sword. Shock rippled through the onlookers. "Have you truly lost your mind?" the bald man shouted. The MC pointed the blade directly at him. "Kneel and apologize, or fight me. Choose quickly." "My master won't forgive you," the man snarled. "I don't care," the MC replied. "You came seeking revenge, I can accept that. But I will not allow anyone to insult my people." The bald man spat. "You're really willing to kill me over that pig?" "Yes," the MC said without hesitation. "That's how much she means to me." With a roar, the bald man drew his heavy broadsword and charged. His companions shouted for him to stop, but it was too late. The MC sidestepped effortlessly. In a single, clean motion, his blade flashed. It pierced straight through the man's mouth. The body collapsed lifeless. Blood soaked the ground. The MC looked down at the corpse, his expression ice-cold. "Your mouth caused your death," he said quietly. And that same mouth refused to apologize. Silence fell. The remaining men stood frozen in horror, staring at the scene before them. For the first time they truly understood. The second gang master was no longer the same. He was cold. He was ruthless. And he would show no mercy. Yang Po's lackeys rushed forward the moment the body hit the ground. They fell to their knees beside the lifeless corpse, disbelief twisting into rage as blood pooled beneath it. One of them turned sharply toward the MC, his voice trembling with fury. "Do you think you can bear the consequences of what you've done?" The MC's gaze swept over them, cold, detached. "Watch your mouths," he said quietly. "They resemble his far too much." The threat was unmistakable. He stepped closer, his presence pressing down on them like a blade at their throats. "Go back," he continued, "and pass on my words exactly as I say them." Their faces paled. "Tell your master that Yang Po died because his mouth was filthy. If he wishes to follow the same path, I will gladly send him the same way." No one dared reply. With shaking hands they lifted Yang Po's corpse and hurried away, fear driving them faster than grief. Within moments the courtyard was silent once more. Only then did Lee Han step forward. "Why?" she asked softly. "Why did you do that?" Her voice wavered. "Why would you go this far for someone like me?" The MC paused. Internally he noted it. She's worried about me even after being humiliated, even after being hurt. Outwardly his expression did not change. "This wasn't for your sake," he said calmly. "I simply killed someone who deserved to die." Lee Han clenched her fists. But the Blood Heaven's Bladesman won't let this slide. He understood her fear. The 8 demon supremes of the demonic cult were not merely powerful, they were untouchable forces. Each possessed immense influence, terrifying martial prowess and legions of loyal subordinates. Even his father, the heavenly demon himself, could not afford to ignore them. And the Blood Heaven's Bladesman was one of them. He had already crippled one of that man's disciples. Now he had killed another. To Lee Han that made him terrifyingly reckless. Sensing her unease, the MC spoke evenly. "He won't act." She looked up, startled. "How can you be so sure?" "He has nothing to gain," the MC replied. "If he interferes, he'll only be criticized for failing to discipline his disciples properly." "But his pride," she began. "He doesn't have such pride," the MC interrupted flatly. Then, unexpectedly, he placed his hands on her shoulders. "Stop worrying about me," he said. "I'll be fine." With that, he turned and began to walk away. Yet inside, his thoughts ran sharp and clear. That was a lie. In truth, he would gain something from this. He had crushed Gu Yangpa in battle. Now he had killed Yangpa outright. This would spread like wildfire through the cult. Eyes would turn toward him. Whispers would follow his name. And when the succession war truly began, when points were counted, influence measured, and worth proven, he had just claimed 1 point for himself. Lost in thought, he heard her voice behind him. "Why, young master?" He turned. Li Han bowed deeply. "Thank you." She straightened, her eyes shining. "I really mean it, from the bottom of my heart." Then she smiled, bright, genuine, unguarded. The MC froze for a brief moment. Seeing her smile like that, he found himself smiling as well. "Then you'd better remember this," he said lightly. "And don't you dare forget it for the rest of your life." She laughed softly, nodding. As he turned away once more, the MC felt something unfamiliar settle in his chest. This, he thought, is what I want. For Li Han to smile like that. To live her life smiling like that. Later that night, the MC sat alone on a cold stone, gazing up at the vast night sky as he organized his thoughts. In his previous life, this was the time when despair had swallowed him whole. After the demonic cult disbanded, he had fled, running not because he wanted to live, but because he didn't know how to die. The weight of defeat had crushed him so completely that, had he not clung desperately to a single goal, he would never have survived. If he had never discovered the great regression technique, what kind of life would I have lived? He wondered. Just as that thought crossed his mind, a massive blade rested against his neck. The steel was cold. In its surface, he saw his own reflection, calm, unmoving, terrifyingly still. He did not flinch. He did not breathe differently. He already knew whose blade it was. The Blood Heaven's Bladesman sat behind him. I didn't sense him at all. That realization sent a chill down his spine. No matter how much knowledge he carried from his past life, his inner energy was pitifully weak compared to this man's. In his current state, dodging that blade was impossible. If the Blood Heaven's Bladesman wished it, his head would already be rolling. Then, suddenly, the blade withdrew. The Blood Heaven's Bladesman moved and sat beside him as though they were old acquaintances watching the stars. With a faint smile, he spoke. "Why did you do it?" The MC replied without hesitation. "Because he behaved like a fool." They both knew who he meant. Silence lingered before the MC asked calmly, "Did you come here to pick a fight with the youngest son of the heavenly demon, someone who doesn't give a damn about fools?" The Blood Heaven's Bladesman did not answer. Instead, he raised his sword once more and placed it against the MC's neck. The MC spoke evenly. "I don't think your blade would cut through my head so easily, if you recall my father's eyes." A faint smile curved the man's lips. He pulled the blade away and drew a line on the ground. Then another. Pointing at them, he said, "This is how much the heavenly demon cares." He gestured to the shorter line. "This is you." Then to the longer one. "This is maturity." The MC stared at the lines for a moment, then calmly drew a third line longer than the first. "I am still the heavenly demon's son," he said. "I should matter at least this much." He looked at the Blood Heaven's Bladesman. "You're 3. I'm 7. The Blood Heaven's Bladesman laughed softly. "We'll only know if we test it," he said. "Do you think he would kill me, or let me live, if I carried nothing but your head back to him?" The MC's heart pounded, but his voice remained steady. "People often underestimate a father's love," he replied. "Especially when it comes to someone like my father." "That may be," the Blood Heaven's Bladesman said calmly. "Then let's test it." A terrifying aura erupted from him, crushing the air itself. In an instant, his blade rested against the MC's shoulder, perfectly positioned to take his head. For the first time that night, fear surged through the MC. But he forced himself to speak. "There's no need," he said. "My father has 2 sons. You only have 1 life." The Blood Heaven's Bladesman paused. Then he smiled just a little. "You're not as foolish as my disciple," he said, withdrawing his aura. The crushing pressure vanished. The MC stood slowly and said, "If your disciple had been anything like you, he would still be alive." The Blood Heaven's Bladesman chuckled. "Second young master, I've lived my entire life surrounded by misfortune. I hope, for both our sakes, that we don't meet too often." Sweat poured down the MC's forehead as he forced a smile. "I'll remember that." With that, the Blood Heaven's Bladesman leapt into the air and vanished into the night. The cold returned. Only then did the MC feel it. A sharp, burning pain in his side. Blood seeped through his clothes. He struck me. In that infinitesimal moment. That was his power. Clutching the wound, the MC laughed bitterly. Blood Heaven's Bladesman may appear reckless, he thought, but that's an illusion. He calculates everything. The fact that he mentioned twice, carrying only my head to father. He had seriously considered it. He came here to see me. My clash with his disciple left an impression. My wish to hunt with my father intrigued him. Killing his disciple forced his hand. This was a test, to see if I'm worthy of becoming a successor. The MC clenched his fist. So this is it, he murmured. My first opponent. The Blood Heaven's Bladesman. Sometime later, the MC was practicing his internal energy cultivation art in silence. He followed every movement his father had taught him, circulating his inner energy, guiding it through his meridians and releasing it alongside the wind. Invisible currents rippled through the air. Then, he sensed a presence. His body reacted before his mind did. He withdrew his energy and vanished from the ground in a blur, reappearing atop a roof. There, standing calmly under the night sky, was a familiar figure. The heavenly demon. His father. The MC straightened instinctively. The heavenly demon spoke first. I heard from the Blood Heaven's Bladesman that you killed his disciple. The MC did not deny it. Yes, he answered calmly. That disciple deserved to die. His father's gaze sharpened. Whether he deserved death or not is irrelevant, he said. The issue is that the Blood Heaven's Bladesman came to me over it. The MC frowned slightly. I don't understand. That man wants you punished, the heavenly demon explained. That surprised the MC. The Blood Heaven's Bladesman was not someone who would normally make demands over the death of a single disciple. As the realization dawned, the MC's eyes narrowed. He's testing father. The Blood Heaven's Bladesman wanted to see whether his father would punish him, and if so, how severe the punishment would be. Through that, he could judge whether the heavenly demon considered the MC a successor candidate. The heavenly demon continued, I intend to punish you. The MC replied immediately, there is no justification for that. His father's lips curved faintly. Justification, he said, can always be made. Then he looked at the MC and asked, do you remember the question you asked me during our hunt? The MC did. He had asked which demon supreme his father trusted the most. Back then his father had not answered. Now the heavenly demon spoke. I trust no one, he said. Not even the demon supremes. The MC listened silently. You spoke to me about hierarchy and discipline within the cult, his father continued. Don't feed me nonsense about corruption needing to be eliminated. Tell me your true thoughts. The two of them stood facing each other, the night stretching between them in silence. At last, the MC bowed his head slightly. Somewhere along the line, he said slowly, we lost the path of the demon. The heavenly demon's eyes widened, just a little. What does the path of the demon mean to you? He asked. The MC raised his head and met his father's gaze directly, his voice steady and confident. The path of the demon, he said, is the belief that only our cult possesses. To defeat absolute evil. That answer genuinely surprised the heavenly demon. I don't believe the orthodox factions are our true opposites, the MC continued. Then who is? His father asked. Absolute evil, the MC replied. He spoke with conviction now. An evil so cowardly, so depraved that no human can endure it. Even demons would despise it and turn away. The orthodox faction's justice and chivalry may handle lesser evils, he said, but they are incapable of confronting absolute evil. Their foundation is forgiveness. As long as they value humanity, they will always lose against an enemy that has abandoned it entirely. His expression hardened. We are the only existence in Murim capable of eradicating such evil, by becoming even more wicked. When an evil so great that even the orthodox factions fail kneels before us, he said resolutely, only then will we have truly walked the path of the demon. If we cannot accomplish that, he concluded, we won't go far. We must be willing to punish even ourselves, if that is what it takes to survive. The heavenly demon stared at him intently. The MC knew this. These thoughts were foreign to his father. They were born from decades of wandering the Central Plains in his previous life. After a long silence, his father finally spoke. Do you have any other arrogant thoughts? No, the MC replied. That will suffice. The heavenly demon nodded slowly. Now I understand why the Blood Heaven's Bladesman wants me to punish you, he said. He saw something in you and wants to test it. He may have seen the possibility of me becoming a successor, the MC replied. Or, his father cut in coldly, he may think you'll be the one who ruins this cult. The MC smiled faintly. Either way, that old man has good eyes. The heavenly demon glared at him, then turned away. Follow me. Where are we going at this hour? The MC asked, already moving after him. They soon stopped before a cave entrance. Above it were carved 4 words. Minor Heaven Cave. The MC's expression tightened. This was a place meant to test potential heavenly demon candidates. Entering was easy. Leaving was not. Those who failed its trials were trapped inside, forever. The survival rate among those of heavenly demon blood was barely 50%. Half had never come out alive. Even his overly ambitious elder brother had never dared to mention entering it. Yet for him, passing through this place at least once was unavoidable. He looked at his father. "Do you truly intend for me to enter?" "I entered when I was your age," his father replied. "How long did it take you to come out?" 2 months. The MC was shocked. His father was considered the most talented heavenly demon in history, yet even he had taken that long. "I was the fastest," his father added. "Others took on average 3 years. The MC hesitated. "You want me to enter without any preparation?" "This is your punishment," the heavenly demon said coldly. The MC wondered, does he truly not care if I die? Or does he want me to survive and become stronger? He smiled. "Then I'll try to come out sooner than you did." His father snorted. "Just try to stay alive." The cave entrance loomed before him, silent, dark, and merciless. And the MC stepped forward. The MC walked down the narrow stone hallway and entered the depths of the Minor Heaven Cave. The air was cold and oppressive. Even breathing felt heavy, as though the cave itself was testing his will. As he advanced, he wondered just how terrifying this place must be for so many people to become trapped here forever. Soon he reached the first trial chamber. A massive stone pillar stood near the entrance, engraved with 3 rules. First, you must cut down all enemies without using sword aura or enhanced sword aura. Second, if you fail within the time limit, you may attempt again after 10 days. Third, those who are ready stand within the crimson circle. 10 days, the MC muttered. Am I supposed to survive on those strange green pills while I wait? He didn't intend to waste even a moment. Stepping into the crimson circle, he felt a surge of energy ripple through the chamber. The ground trembled. Dozens of puppets erupted from the earth around him. Crimson markings glowed across their bodies like exposed veins. He understood immediately. Those marks are their cores. Without hesitation he moved. His sword flashed again and again. Wherever a red mark appeared, his blade followed. Each strike was precise, ruthless, and perfectly timed. The puppets were far tougher than he had expected, dense, heavy, and resistant, but he cut them down one after another. More continued rising from the ground. He realized something quickly. If they retreat underground, I fail. So he pushed forward relentlessly, cutting faster, refusing to give them a chance to withdraw. At the very last moment, a puppet began sinking back into the earth. The MC lunged, his blade slicing through its crimson core just before it vanished. The chamber fell silent. He had cleared the trial. Sweat dripped from his face. If he had hesitated for even a fraction of a second, he would have been forced to wait another 10 days. With his former skills before regression, this trial would have been impossible. The gate to the second trial opened. As he passed through, he noticed a long pillar covered in carvings, names and notes left by previous challengers. 9 attempts. 16 attempts. 37 attempts. I can't do it. I'll die here. I cleared it in 6 tries. I am the strongest. These were the voices of despair, arrogance, and madness. At the very bottom, there was a single word written in an unmistakable hand. Idiots. The MC stared at it. Father. He almost laughed. The heavenly demon had mocked even his own ancestors. With that, he stepped into the second trial. The chamber was enormous. Weapons covered the walls, every type of sword imaginable, from slender rapiers to massive great blades. Another stone pillar displayed the rules. First, use the swords on the wall to split the stone in half within 2 hours. You may use sword aura or enhanced sword aura. Second, if you fail, you may attempt again after 20 days. Third, those who are ready stand within the crimson circle. The MC stepped forward. A massive stone sphere materialized before him. So I just need to cut this in half, he murmured. With enhanced sword aura, he could do that effortlessly, hundreds of times even. But something felt wrong. He struck the sphere with a normal blade. The sword shattered. He tried again. Another sword broke. The stone sphere remained unblemished. He read the pillar again. You may use sword aura or enhanced sword aura. Not must, may. His eyes narrowed. He recalled what was written here. One man succeeded with enhanced sword aura. Another failed 89 times and gave up. One succeeded without using it. And his father's words. Absolute nonsense. If there is heat, he wondered about it as using sword aura generates heat, meaning he can't use enhanced sword energy to slice the sphere. Time was running out. He clenched his teeth. How did father do it? Then he remembered. The wind. The energy lines. The technique his father had taught him. He infused his energy outward, not into his sword but into the sphere itself. Suddenly something appeared. A faint line. A barely visible circle running perfectly around the stone. It wasn't an illusion. It was a flaw. A path. Without hesitation he aligned his blade along that line. One clean strike. The sphere split perfectly in half. I did it, he shouted. At the center of the stone lay a small pill, dark, swirling with demonic energy. The demonic essence pill. His eyes burned with excitement. The true trials of the heavenly demon had only just begun. The demonic essence pill was not something ordinary. If a demonic martial artist consumed it, they would gain an enormous amount of inner energy. But there was a condition. If the stone had been split using sword aura or enhanced sword aura, the heat generated would have the pill. This reward existed only for those who cut it with the sword alone. So that's what father meant. It wasn't a guess. It was a warning. The MC gave a quiet nod. Thank you. He swallowed the demonic essence. The energy exploded inside him. He immediately sat down and began circulating his chi. His meridians burned as raw demonic power flooded through them. The pressure was unbearable, but he forced it to obey. Then, boom. A wave of energy burst outward from his body. Dust scattered across the chamber as his aura surged. When he opened his eyes, the world felt different. His body felt heavier, stronger, fuller. The thing he had always lacked most, pure energy, had finally been filled. Without hesitation he stood. The next trial awaited. A new stone pillar rose from the ground. First, differentiate life and death. Second, if you fail you may attempt again after 5 days. Third, those who are ready stand within the crimson circle. Differentiate life and death? He stepped forward. A podium rose from the floor. 6 herbs lay on its surface. He instantly understood. Poison and medicine. In his previous life, Gu Ryangja had forced him to search endlessly for rare herbs. He had eaten, tested, and memorized thousands of plants, learning their effects the hard way. To him this was nothing. He picked one herb and set it aside. The podium sank. Another rose. More herbs. This was to prevent luck. He smiled faintly and chose again, correctly. The trial ended. As he walked onward, he noticed the writings of past challengers. This test will turn us into poison-soaked monsters. What kind of idiot made this? We don't even touch these plants normally. All complaints. At the bottom, his father's words were carved. Don't count on luck. MC understood. Every herb they had eaten before now mattered. Then he reached the final trial. The pillar read. First, survive the illusory life and death trap formation. Second, if you die inside you die for real. Third, those who are ready stand within the crimson circle. His ancestors' messages were carved beside it. This fight was hell. One day I will kill whoever created this formation. I will never step into this again. At the bottom. Don't rest. He closed his eyes. That wasn't meaningless. It wasn't about the trial. It was about life. He stepped into the crimson circle. The world changed. He stood in a battlefield. The air was thick with blood and killing intent. Warriors surrounded him, rotting, hollow-eyed, yet very real. They were illusions. But their killing intent wasn't. His sword slid from its sheath. He cut the first attacker down before it reached him. Then another. Then dozens. Blood filled the air as he moved like a storm, cutting through them without hesitation. Thanks to the demonic essence, his energy flowed freely, powerful, relentless. Then they rushed him together. He inhaled. And swung. The battlefield turned into a slaughterhouse. When the dust settled, they were gone. Silence. Too easy. Then, he felt it. A far more terrifying presence. The warriors rose again. Stronger. Faster. More murderous. The next wave came without mercy. Arrows screamed toward him. Swords, spears, axes, everything was hurled at once, turning the battlefield into a storm of death. The MC moved. His blade flashed as he cut arrows from the air, deflected spears, shattered axes, and tore through charging warriors. His enemies were growing stronger, faster, heavier, more precise. Don't rest. His father's words echoed in his mind. He finally understood. As he fought, something inside him changed. The experience from his previous life, countless battles, countless deaths, finally began to fuse with his present body. His movements grew sharper. His instincts clearer. His sword felt like an extension of his will. They kept coming. He kept cutting. Blood soaked the ground. And finally, the last enemy fell. Silence returned. The illusion shattered. Before him stood the final stone pillar. Congratulations. You have passed the trials of the minor heaven cave. May your strength be used for the prosperity of the heavenly demon divine cult. He had done it. And one day, his father had taken 2 months. But he didn't feel pride, only caution. If the cult learned this, it wouldn't bring praise. It would bring suspicion, jealousy, and fear. So he stayed inside the cave pretending to train, until the days passed. 100 days later, the heavenly demon sat upon his throne. So, he said calmly, you took exactly 100 days. The MC bowed. I did my best, but I couldn't break your record. Did you split the stone properly? Yes. And I didn't rest even once inside the illusion formation. The heavenly demon's lips curved faintly. The MC blinked. Was that a smile? At least, his father said, you're not a fool. Of course not, MC replied. I'm the son of the heavenly demon. His father said nothing more and leaned back. For the first time, MC understood him. This man didn't enjoy forcing his children to fight. He simply valued the cult above everything, even his own blood. A voice spoke from the side. Congratulations on completing the minor heaven cave in 100 days. It was Sima Myung, the chief advisor, the man his father trusted most. He bowed deeply. I have a matter to discuss with you, regarding the cult. MC stiffened. MC knew that this was dangerous. Anyone found to be complicit in corruption would be executed. Anyone who dares to be involved with corruption will do whatever they can to hide the events. Even if the investigation officer, the heavenly demon's son, they won't go easy on him. He asked the advisor that if he is sending him to do something, he could die doing it. The advisor told him that that's right. You will have to put your life on the line for this mission. MC looked at his father. This must be another one of father's tests, he thought. Then his father spoke about what he said before, that he will control them and hold them by the leashes. MC replied that that's when I become the heavenly demon. Then the father retorted, so are you saying you're too scared to do this? Then MC, sensing his father's will, he can't refuse this mission if. And so he accepted the mission. Both of them looked at each other. He didn't know what his father's planning, but it will be good to put up a performance for him. Just as the conversation was about to end, MC asked his father, since this could be his last moment, he would like to have a drink with him, but his father ignored that and just walked away from his seat. It was an awkward moment for the MC. To not make it awkward, he spoke that he acts tough on the outside, but he actually cares for us, but the advisor told him that he didn't look like anything like that, making it more awkward for him. Later, at Nirvana Pavilion, a gloomy scholar greeted him. Seo Daryong. I will assist you. MC stared at him. I told Sima Myung to send me the most beautiful woman. Seo replied calmly. I assume I am the most beautiful in his eyes. MC sighed. They departed immediately. On the way, Seo explained. Gu Qianyang is the demonic army commander. Younger brother of Gu Qianpa, the blood heaven sword demon. So corruption comes from powerful roots, MC murmured. Seo looked empty. Even if we uncover it, nothing will change. Unless the people above change, MC replied. Seo nodded. You're not afraid? MC asked. Seo Daryong relied that the previous special investigation officer that died was his direct superior and the person who used to teach him. The MC was surprised to hear that, and he was now again in an awkward silence.